Well, hello again. This time, this video will be coming to you from India, not exclusively from Adyar, because I had an opportunity to travel to a couple of different places within India. But this one's going to have an awful lot of, this one is action-packed. So many different things have been happening, and I have some just wonderful news that I will share with you at the end of the video, but I'll tell you about it before. During the course of my time here this time around, we have spent a lot of time at Adyar, a lot of it in preparation for the convention that's coming up. It's always something where right around this time of year we spring into a war footing where everything is just mobilized. Fortunately, everybody is familiar with the process and things kind of fall into place, but it's a major undertaking to prepare the place for 12 to 1,400 people who tend to come, and to also have accommodations for about 700 to 800 of those. So it's quite a jump from one level to another. So we've had a lot of different things with regard to that. Was in Varanasi at the beginning of this time. Went up there to conduct the study camp for the North Indian Study Camp. It's a wonderful event. About 100 people attended the 4-day event, and also got a chance to visit with some of the folks at the Besant School in Rajghat, just outside Varanasi, the Krishnamurti school that is run there. Came back to here and also went from here once again and was in Bombay, Mumbai, for their federation. Dr. A.J. Hora and his wife had asked me to come last year. Anyone who has met Dr. Hora knows that the only acceptable answer tends to be yes, and that was in fact my answer. And I was so glad about it because it's a very exceptional sort of arrangement that they have there. You'll get a chance to see it. There's an actual theosophical colony right on the seaside that has been there for years and years, that was designed much the way we tried to do it in the United States with Taormina, where it was for only theosophists who could be able to live there, to be able to own property. So that's something that has worked out quite well, but it's just a lovely place in a huge metropolis, one of the largest cities in the world, 13 million people, and somehow or another it works. I don't know how. So we'll spend time in Bombay and get to see some of the images and meet some of the people from that particular trip. Then it was back here and nose to the grindstone at Adyar with so many different things. We were very fortunate. The tensile membrane for the roof that's going to be going up at the Adyar Theater in time for our convention arrived. And no sooner did it arrive, just the 2 to 3 day process that would be required to put it up, put it in place, then the really heavy rains began. The monsoon was a little bit delayed, but this was more along the lines of a cyclone. I'll get to show you some images of that because it really impacted us and it impacted the city of Chennai. Massive flooding, many trees down, no flooding in particular on our campus, but it was a huge event here in this part of the world. So the good news, which is actually great news, a year ago, I was contacted by Carolyn Kristov-Bargiev, who is a world-class curator of major exhibitions. They were putting on an art exhibition that was going to take place throughout the city of Istanbul, Turkey. And it was geared toward completely theosophical concept and also Annie Besant. So the title of it was Salt Water, A Theory of Thought Forms. And what Carolyn had contacted me for was to try and get hold of the original paintings that were done for the book Thought Forms. 46 images, all done in watercolor, that they wanted to exhibit for this show. We looked everywhere in our archives. We thought that they had been associated with another art exhibit that took place in Paris in the US back in the 1980s. Nowhere. We looked in England, we looked in Australia, we looked in America. Archives here in India could not be found. So the exhibit had to go on. They had to do prints from the ones that were in the book. While I was in Varanasi, A woman who was attending the conference, the study camp actually from Australia, told me that she had seen these actual paintings, the originals, and that they were in the library at the Indian National Section's headquarters. Turns out that it was correct. We gathered all of them. They had been framed back in the 1950s. We know it was the 50s because you found pieces of paper, newspaper dated 1953, 1955. And they had been framed in the way that you would back then, when conservation sorts of theories, and also when it wasn't clear that these were actually really a heritage item for the art world and for the history of the development of modern art. So anyway, they had degraded substantially, which we arranged to have them sent, and conservation level framing, cleaning, protection of that sort of level we were able to do. Anyway, these 21 of these 46 images we were able to find, and I'll be able to show you these pictures of these. Glorious pictures. First time they will have ever been seen outside of the books, but also outside of the frames. Because what you find is that there's actually handwriting by the artist that actually lists what each of these particular thought forms is. It's wonderful. So anyway, there's more work that's going to have to be done. There's going to have to be some restoration work. So at the end of this video, I'm going to put an address for those of you who feel so inclined. It might not be a bad idea if we had some sort of restoration fund in order to do that. When we build our new archives building here at the Adyar headquarters, that will be our next project for next year. We'll be able to have a climate-controlled environment and all that. But in the meantime, there's probably going to have to be some restoration done. But in any event, it's a wonderful event, and I leave it for you to decide for yourself. You'll see at the end of the video. So now I've said too much. Please enjoy. So shortly after returning to Adyar, I had a lovely meeting with some of the younger members of the Adyar Lodge here at the international headquarters. Then the group from Finland who were here for the School of the Wisdom. Every year at the Social Welfare Center, they give lovely donation for the children and for the teachers. We had a special ceremony for that occasion. Then it was off to Varanasi. This year I was going to conduct the study camp for the North Indian part of the Indian section at the Indian headquarters in the middle of Varanasi. Varanasi is a city that has grown substantially, and traffic is quite a treat. I felt very sorry for this poor gentleman trying to conduct it. But the Indian section national headquarters is like a breath of fresh air. As soon as you step off the streets around it, it's a beautiful oasis that's been maintained for years and years. Great history there. Rite of the Mystic Star began the evening, and then the next day we started the actual study camp. Indian Section General Secretary, Mr. Sundaram, inaugurated it and introduced me. And then we were off for the next 4 days. About 100 plus people from around northern India primarily attended. And it was a very good event, very interactive, got a lot of things done, I feel. The campus is beautiful. We had a chance to have a brief reception on one evening and meet with some of the people from various parts of India. One young girl who was there, an artist in the making. I just give you her work. And then we had a chance also, a year ago when I was here, the Besant School had just broken new foundations for a new building. The new building was done. They had promised it would be done a year later, and I was there for the inauguration to participate in the ribbon cutting and the presentation of this beautiful new center for the kids. It was a wonderful morning, complete with honor guards, ceremonial tree planting, which my wife Lily had a chance to do for the occasion, and of course the required speeches. Then it was off to the Rajghat Besant School, which is a Krishnamurti operation that had begun, in Varanasi. Professor P. Krishna had invited me to attend, and I got a chance to speak to their student body there, the upper students. Lively affair that lasted well into the day, with individual students coming up later in various different places to talk about different things that they have on their minds. And they have a lot on their minds. It's a beautiful place right on the Ganges River. Took a break from that to go to Sarnath, which is the place where the Buddha gave his first sermon. Deer Park was there, and it's become really a holy place for Buddhists of all different denominations. Closed out our time in Varanasi with birthday celebration with Manju and Sundaram and Nandita and her husband Kuldeep. Beautiful day, and then did some touring of the grounds, viewing various different things there at the Varanasi historic headquarters, not the least of which was the Shiva temple. Then it was back to Adyar and the School of the Wisdom, the first session, which began on November 2nd. This one conducted by Pablo Sender, who had come from England, where he had been giving a series of talks at another program. We also received the bust from the Dialogue of Cultures United World, a bust of H.P. Blavatsky, which is quite lifelike. Just look at those eyes. The next stop was Mumbai, or Bombay, as many are familiar with it, for the Bombay Federation and a few other meetings, which had been scheduled the year before with Dr. Ajay Hora. It was my first exposure to Bombay, 13 million people, but in the midst of it is this Theosophical colony, which has been there for years. It's a plot of land right on the Arabian Sea that has been a Theosophical community, much like what was attempted at Taormina in California in the US. Beautiful place, a beautiful island of peace in the middle of a bustling, hustling city. Blavatsky Lodge, right in downtown Mumbai, right off of Annie Besant Avenue, was where the first program was held. It's a beautiful historic building which belongs to the TS. The programs were well attended, and on one evening we had a whole group of younger people who came because of an essay contest within which they had participated in. Good group of young folks, very, very bright. I'm hopeful for the future. The next day the show moved back to Juhu, the Theosophical colony. Dr. Hora and his wife, seen here, had to prepare the ground for the Bombay Federation, which is held every year, but this time they had to put up a special structure because they anticipated an attendance which was beyond the norm. It worked out quite well. The Bharat Samaj ceremony was conducted, and in case you doubt that I was there, there's my name in the newspaper. Several months ago, some members of the Anthroposophical Society approached me about having their annual conference here at the Theosophical Society. Well, we worked it out, and it was a beautiful conference. Everywhere that they touched, they made sure that there was beauty. The columns were put down on the front of every place that they had meetings. Flowers were arranged. Everyone was decorated. Annie Besant was garlanded. It's a beautiful affair, very, very lively group from all over India, and also many of the members came from Germany, which is where the Anthroposophical movement originated. So it's something that really brought the place to life, and I think we can look forward to very good relations and similar sorts of events going forward. Then we had a celebration of Lakshmi Suranayan, who is the director of the Olcott School. A group of students who said that 25 years later we want to get together and see what we can do for the community, got together, and this is what they did. Diwali, Festival of Lights, is a beautiful time here, and it's a time for remembrance about the light that streams into the world. Huge festival here in India. Got together with the Finnish contingent at my home. And just a few shots of the Adyar Theater, which the fabric for the roof finally arrived. The tensile membrane, which is going to go up, it takes 2 to 3 days to put up. Everything was ready, and then the cyclone hit us. We had rains for more than 7 days straight, torrential rains. A lot of damage was done to trees here on our own campus, and the city of Chennai itself was really hurt in many places. Communities all around our campus were submerged in water, and On our campus, one of the trees had wrapped its roots around one of the main water pipes and shaken it so it cracked and there was no water to one whole end of the campus. This is just a view of one of the streets outside of our campus, and this was one of the good streets. I'll close this video with some wonderful news about the Thought Forms paintings. About a year ago, I was approached by the curator of a major exhibition in Istanbul, Salt Water, A Theory of Thought Forms. They even used the thought form images on their brochures. They wanted to try and find the originals. We looked high and low, could not find them. In Varanasi, it was pointed out that they were in the library. We got the original framed versions. 21 of the original 46 images we have been able to find thus far. They were damaged, they were taken out of the frame and given to a conservator, and this is what you see for the very first time, the actual writing by the artist of what each emotion, each thought form depicts. They are wonderful works that are really a treasure, not just for the TS, but for humanity and for the art world. So I leave you with all of these things. We're going to have to do some more work, further conservation work, and probably it wouldn't be a bad thing. Those of you who have it in your minds, it might be something that would be helpful if you could contribute toward this. It's not a cheap process, but here they are.